Then, again, another myth. Entrepreneurs are extraordinary forecasters. Now a few quotes about forecasting. Newton Baker, The Security of War in 1910, he said that idea is so damn nonsensical that I'm willing to stand on the bridge of a battleship while that nitwit tries to hit it from the air. And what did he talk about? Well, he was responding to the suggestion that airplanes might sink battleships by dropping bombs on them. Another quote. We don't like the sound. Groups of guitars are on the way out. That is Mike Smith of Decca Recording, and he was one person who rejected the Beatles. Then we have Business Week from '68. With over 50 foreign cars already on sale here, the Japanese auto industry isn't likely to carve out a big slice of the US market for itself. So, as these quotes imply, it's very hard to predict the future. And in the book, you can read about a study where they had mapped 82,000 forecasts for almost 300 experts who were experts in forecasting. And they mapped that against real-world events. The forecasts against what actually happened. And it turned out that the expert barely beat a random forecast generator. And the most famous forecasters did slightly worse than the average of the expertise. So not even the expert forecasters can predict the future. Here we have a fourth field that I would like you to consider in relationship to effectuation and the myth that entrepreneurs are extraordinary forecasters. We have effectuation here. Okay? I'm going to walk you through it. On the y-axis we have emphasis on prediction. On the x-axis we have emphasis of control. Here's low, here's high, there's low, there's high. Okay? Then there are different positions that you can take within this matrix. And I will walk you through them. We start with planning. The emphasis on prediction is high, but the emphasis on control is low. Prediction of market or technology. And this is something that is suitable in mature, stable environments. And here you assume that information from the environment is reliable enough. Which it could be in a mature market that does not move so quickly. Then we have here adaptation, where there's low emphasis on prediction and low emphasis on control. Here the dynamic capabilities are key. You need to adapt and learn with a view to outpace the competition, and that may be a preferred strategic approach for you. And adaptation assumes that you are quicker in responding to change than competitors. So you cannot predict the future and you cannot control the future. Instead, just try to adapt quickly to what others are doing. Then we go here to market power. High emphasis on prediction, high emphasis on control. How can it be high emphasis on prediction here? Well, here you have a more proactive approach towards the environment, but here we also assumes market power. It could be government regulated or quasi-monopolistic markets, kind of like Microsoft could be an example. They are so big so they can actually control the future. So you could say that they predict it, but they actually created it as well. Therefore, they can predict it. So these kind of players can try to dictate what will happen in the environment and can impose its view and vision on the landscape and ensure the position of the organization in that landscape. So it assumes that you have enough power to impose a solution on the environment. A small firm, or however, does not have that control of an entire market. Then we move down to effectuation. Low emphasis on prediction, because they cannot change the entire market and then predict what's going to happen like the ones with market power can do. There's uncertainty here, but still emphasis on control. How does that play out? Well, because the company does not have market power, it needs to co-create with partners, customers, suppliers, and so on its environment, developing a new product, firm, or market from which all parties will benefit. And it assumes that you can effectively put together partnerships that will succeed in creating a new situation. So, they are not controlling the entire market, but controlling the near surroundings with the help of partners and partnerships and collaborations. So, then the entrepreneur can use the effectuation technique to control the environment, the near environment, but not predict the entire future and the movements of the market at large as the market power player would be able to do. Now to this question. People might think that, well, yeah, entrepreneurship sounds nice, but I don't know how to take the plunge and jump into the unknown. And what kind of decision process leads potential entrepreneurs to comfortably take the plunge? One could ask. Well, Saraswati and colleagues, she would answer that, tell me who you are and I will tell you how you plunge. But she will also say, toes first. Entrepreneurs don't really plunge. They go in with their toes first. And they try to estimate what they can lose and start small. Perhaps at the outgrowth of a hobby, or keeping your daytime job while you work on your entrepreneurial endeavor. So it might also be that you create multiple businesses and see which one is the best and focus on growing that one. And it also means delaying investment. In that way, keep options open. Entrepreneurs try to choose the least risky path and decide what they're willing to risk and then not risk any more than that. So, what are you willing to risk? What can you lose? Decide on that. And then that will kind of narrow down the scope of which ideas you can start with. And then you start small. Also, consider what is the cost of not starting a venture. What will happen then?